What's up guys, welcome back. Today's video has been highly requested and I admit I have been putting it off for a little bit just because I have so many things to talk about. So sit tight, this one is definitely going to be a little bit longer of a video. I do want to say quickly before I get into the video that I am running a huge back to school giveaway right now. I'll leave the link for that video in the description box below if you guys want to go check that out. Anyways, back to the video. So I do want to say that this one is going to be a little bit different than the other best and worst videos that I've done on my channel. Normally I'll go through all of the best things first and then show you guys all of the worst things or the things that I just don't like at the end. But since I have so much stuff to talk about, I actually have to split it up into categories. So for instance, I'm going to do all the eyeshadow palettes first, and then I'm going to do the lip products and the highlighters and everything in categories like that. I really hope you guys don't mind, and I hope that it's still easy to follow, but just for my sanity, I thought it would be a lot easier for me to just split everything up into categories. I'm pretty sure I have every single thing up here in the entire Anastasia Beverly Hills line, so there is a ton of stuff to go through. So if you guys are interested in all the things that I love from this brand and all the things that I do not like from this brand, then just keep on watching. All right, so like I just said, I am going to start with the eyeshadow palettes. These are the ones that I own right here. I'm going to start with my favorite one, and this is of course the Modern Renaissance palette. I think this one was an obvious, everybody loves this palette, and I say in all my videos that I think this is a staple palette. I love all of these warm tones in here, and it just has everything I need to create a full eye look. They blend so good. They're super pigmented, and it's honestly just a perfect palette, so I love this one. Next up is the Soft Glam palette. This one is one of their newer releases. In here, they do have a few repeat shades. I believe there's 8 repeat shades. Some of them are in the Modern Renaissance palette, and then a couple of them are single shadows that Anastasia already had. I use the matte shades in this one all the time. The shimmers I don't really care for. They are really pretty, but mainly just these 3 shades right here show up a little bit darker on my eyes, and I like my lid shade to be brighter. So I usually just don't reach for those, but the matte shades in here are killer and I love them. Also, I will say in this one you do get a lot of kickback, and they're very pigmented and pretty powdery, so I usually like to just pick up a little tiny bit, tap off the extra, and then go in so that I don't get fallout on my face, and it's just easier to blend that way. And then we have the Prism palette. This is actually a holiday palette from last Christmas, but they still have it up on their website, so I don't know, they're still selling it, but I do really like this palette. It's definitely not my favorite. I think it's really fun. I love the concept of it. I don't really like how they laid all the colors out though. I feel like when you look at this, you kind of have to sit there and think, what could I possibly do with this? Because I don't know, I just feel like the shades are really scattered. I feel like they could have organized them a little bit better to make it easier. But other than that though, I think this is a good palette if you're looking for more colors and more different eyeshadows. This is the brand new Norvina palette that just launched, and I actually just used it for the very first time today. That's what I have on my eyes right now. And even though I used the neutral shades in here, so far I really like it. I used Passion, that's the shade that's in my outer corner and my crease. I have Dreamer on my lid, and then I'm using a little bit of Incense right above this Passion shade. I thought those shades blended really, really nice on my eyes. I was actually very surprised. There is a little bit of kickback to these shades again, but honestly the kickback doesn't bother me too much because I usually go in and dip very, very lightly into the pan so you don't get too much. So I did use this shade right here, Rose Gold, and I didn't like that. I actually wiped it off and put Dreamer on my lid instead. It showed up pretty dark on my lids, and it just looked very smoky and I don't know, kind of muddy, I guess. So I didn't really like that one. Again, I haven't tried any of these other shimmer shades, so I can't really say anything about that, but I definitely will keep trying this and update you guys on it if I feel a different way about it. And now we have the lovely Subculture palette. This one created a riot on social media. I don't think I ever talked about it on my channel, not that I can remember at least, but I'm not a fan of this. I actually love the shades in here. I think they're all really, really pretty and very different, so I will give them that, but for some reason, this palette is so different than all of her other palettes, and it just got very muddy on my eyes very fast. It was pretty patchy. It was almost just like they were way too pigmented. Now I was able to make this work a couple times, but honestly, it's almost like it's just too much work. It's just a little bit too chalky and kind of patchy. So that's my thoughts on Subculture. Now, since we're talking about eyeshadows, I do have a couple single shadows that I want to talk about. Okay, so this shade right here, this matte white one, is the shade Bone. I use that shadow every single day. It's one of my, actually it is my favorite white eyeshadow. It's very bright. It's just a true bone white, and I actually use that to set my entire base down every single time I do my makeup, and it just gives me that perfect blank canvas to lay eyeshadows on top of it. This one right here is called Peach Sorbet. great. This is another one that I love. Usually if I go for a gold shade on my lid, I'll use this one. It's just that perfect bright gold. I don't know, I really like that one. I also love, love, love this one. This is called Sunset. This one's a little bit darker, but these two together are beautiful. It is that perfect bronze copper gold shade, and I just think it is stunning. So I absolutely love this one as well. And then there's one more that I wanted to talk about that I cannot live without, and it's this one right here. You guys have seen me wear this probably 100 times in my videos. This is my go-to crease and outer corner shade. It's called Blazing. Did I already say that? I don't know what it is about this shade, but it has the perfect undertone. It makes blue eyes pop. If I don't have that in my crease, I always have it on my lower lash line. I don't have it today because I used a palette today. But if you guys go back on my videos and you see a kind of red shade on my eyes, that's what I'm wearing all the time. Okay, now that we just spent 20 minutes talking about eyeshadow palettes, I'm gonna move on to the brow products now. And I'm gonna try and go through these a little bit faster just because brow products are kind of boring, but there is a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna start with my favorite product, and this is the Brow Wiz. I use the shades Soft Brown, Medium Brown, and sometimes Taupe. I'm currently wearing Soft Brown, and I think this is the perfect shade for me. I love the undertone it has, and I don't know, I just think it's a really good shade. That's one reason why I love these brow products. I love how you get a spoolie on the end. I love how skinny and precise these tips are. They're very easy to use, very easy to get nice and sculpted brows and just be really precise with the way that you're drawing your brows in. So that's the main reason why I love these. They kind of have a more powdery finish, so it tends to stay a little bit more matte and stay on me longer. So that is why I love those. And then let's talk about the brow definer. I love this for when I'm in a rush. These are different because instead of having that really skinny tip, you have a triangle kind of. So it goes up to a point and then it's wider at the bottom. It's just really easy to fill in your brows super quick with these. So I do love using that when I'm in a rush. And then we have the Dip Brow Pomades. I have the shades Soft Brown, Blonde, and Medium Brown. Soft Brown and Blonde, I would say, are my most used because the medium brow one in the Dip Brow Pomade, it seems to be a lot darker to me than the Brow Wiz one. So what I'll say about these is that they're a little bit tricky to get the hang of. I won't use them unless I have a lot of time to get ready, if I want to really spend my time doing my makeup, just because one, I'm not as used to using them as I am with an actual pencil. So I like to really just take my time with these when I am using them. But there is one thing that I really don't love about them, and that's how fast mine get dried out. I don't know if everybody else's does the same thing, but I don't know, mine just get really dry really fast. You can kind of tell in this one how it just starts looking a little bit dry and it's a little bit harder to get product out of there. So I don't love that. I'm going to show you what I did to my blonde one. So I put like 2 drops of oil in this, and then I just mix it up with my spatula to make it creamy again. But I do like how they give you that wet brow look. I think that looks really cool. Okay, so next up we have the brow powder duos. I have the shades Medium Brown, which is this one right here. So we have medium brown here and then chocolate right here. So I actually like using these not to do my entire brow with, but I love using these to fill in any patches on my brows. So if I don't have any today, but sometimes when I fill them in, I have like a bald spot on my eyebrow or something, and the brow pencil just won't stick to it. So I'll like to dip into the deepest shade in either this one or this one on an angled brush and just fill that in, and it works so good. Very, very easy to use. And I also, what I used to do all the time is take the deepest shade in this chocolate color and fill in only the tail of my brow, and it just gave me that natural gradient. I haven't done that in a while, but I used to do that all the time. So that is what I love using these ones for. The next brow product I have is the Perfect Brow Pencil. This one is an actual pencil. It's not a twist up or anything like that, and I actually don't really like this. The formula is fine, but it's just kind of an inconvenience to me. I don't like to have to sharpen it every time I use it. That's why I like the Brow Wiz, because they're always skinny and you just twist them up. Other than that though, I think the formula is fine. I would just prefer the Brow Wiz. And then we have the Clear Brow Gel. This is a holy grail for me. I love this stuff. You put this on and your eyebrows will not move. It is like super glue. Another thing I love about it too is that when you put it on, it makes your eyebrows look kind of wet. It takes away that powdery look of them, because sometimes you get some bronzer or foundation powder, whatever, on your eyebrows. And when you put this back on, it defines the brow hairs more and makes them look less powdery. And then we have the tinted brow gels. I have the shades Granite and Chocolate. Granite's too dark for me now, so I don't use that anymore, but I do use Chocolate a lot. And the reason why I like these is because they really define your actual brow hairs. Even if you don't have a brow pencil on or anything and you just want your hairs to be a little bit darker, just sweep this on them and it'll tint your hairs and make your eyebrows look fuller and more defined. So I absolutely love this stuff. It also looks really pretty too if you wear a lighter colored brow pencil. So when I use my Benefit one, it's a little bit lighter than this shade, and then put this over it. It looks so pretty because it's light in the background and then you can see all of your individual hairs and it just looks really cool. And then we have the brow primer. This is actually a more waxy pencil. My mic just died, of course. What's new? I forgot what I was saying, but I'm just gonna go back to this, the brow primer. So what I was saying is it's meant to put on your eyebrows before you do your brows and lay them down flat so they're nice and smooth. But the reason why I don't like this is because it just feels very thick and kind of tacky and sticky on my brows, and I just don't like that feeling. Again, I feel like I really don't need this just because I do have pretty fine eyebrow hairs, so I don't know, I feel like I just don't need to lay them down flat. But if you are someone that has much more dense and coarse brows, I feel like you would like this. I just don't really have a use for it, so that's the only reason why I just don't love that one. And the next thing are these brow stencils. Now, I don't like these because they do not match up with my face. I have a very small head, so I don't know, they're either way too big on my face, the arches are like way up here, it does not work for me. All right, we still have a ton of stuff left. I'm gonna go on to the contour kits now. We still have the highlighters left, glow kits, blushes, bronzers, lip product. There's a lot. For the contour kits, I'm gonna start with this one. This is the original contour kit. I have the light to medium shade. I love this. I actually kind of forgot about it and stopped using it, but this used to be my go-to. I used to use it all the time. I used to actually use this shade the most. It's kind of more neutral, but still a cool tone contour shade, so it's really nice if you are a little bit more fair-skinned. This shade right here is a perfect contour shade for me. Of course, I'm wearing it today, and I also used to use this to set my under eyes all the time. Again, I haven't done that in forever, but still love this contour kit to this day. And the other contour kit is the cream contour kit. I actually liked this when it first came out, but now I don't really like it. Again, it dried up very fast, and you can kind of tell. I had to scratch off the first layer of them when I wanted to use it again, just because the top layer was very dry and very hard to get product out of. These two are way too light to use as contour shades on me, and then this one is just a little bit too dark. I don't know, the shades are just a little bit off for me, but yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this. And then I might as well just talk about this. This is the eyeliner, just because it doesn't really have a category to go in, but this is the waterproof cream color in the shade Jet. I'm not a fan of this. I've used it 2 times. I mean, you can clearly see it. The 2 times I used it, I didn't like it. It's not jet black how I like my eyeliner to be, and it actually comes off a little bit more gray on me. I feel like I'm just so spoiled with my Inglot gel liner, and I love it so much that anytime I try another eyeliner, I just don't like it. So honestly, it's not terrible. It's just not as black as I want it to be. All right, now let's get to some fun stuff and talk about the highlighters. I just dropped 2 of them. Whoops. All right, first let's talk about the liquid glows. I have the shades Perla and Peach Fizz. These 2 are my most used. I love liquid highlighters. You guys know that. I am always using a liquid liner or liquid highlighter underneath my powder. Today I am wearing the shade Perla, which is this one right here. And that's what it looks like. So beaming, blinding, metallic, beautiful. Oh, I love this thing so much. And it's not glittery and chunky. It's just so metallic looking. And then this is the shade Peach Fizz right here. I like using this one more when I'm a little bit tanner. So this one is the shade Peach Fizz. Beautiful golden highlighter. Oh, I cannot get enough of these. They're so pretty. Now, a lot of people don't like liquid highlighters, mainly because they don't know how to use them. I use them a little bit different than some people do. Sometimes people like putting them on below their foundation, but I actually put them on after I already set my foundation with powder and everything. And how I do that is I put a little tiny drop on the back of my hand, and then I take my finger and I'll just pat it into that highlighter. Just pick up a little bit and then tap it onto my cheekbones and blend it out like that. You never ever want to rub, especially if you already set your face, because that will move the powder around and pick it up. I just dip into it very lightly and I pick up a little tiny bit at a time, and if you just pat that into your skin, it looks so wet and beautiful. And I also always use a liquid or a cream underneath my powder highlighter because it makes the powder stick to it way easier, and it just makes it super, super metallic. And then we have the Amrezy collab with Anastasia. This is in the shade Amrezy. This is what it looks like. It is beautiful. I love this wave design in it. I've never seen a highlighter look like that. So I actually don't love this one. I do like it. I love the shade, but I don't know. I feel like I just like the formulas from the glow kits a little bit better than this, so I don't really gravitate towards it that much. I really only wear this when I'm a little bit darker and spray tan though, because if I am a little bit too fair, it will give me sort of a cast on my face and look kind of dark. So I do like this. I think it's really pretty. I just don't love it. And then we have these two single highlighters. I have the shades So Hollywood and Starlight. I don't even know if they still sell these. Anyways, I'll just talk about these quick. So I just swatched So Hollywood on my hand right here. This is the Amrezy one, and this is So Hollywood. So it's just a little tiny bit darker than the Amrezy one. And then this one right here, I used to use this one all the time. This is in the shade So Hollywood. Okay, now I'm gonna go on and talk about the glow kits that I have. We have Sundipped, Sugar, That Glow, and the Nicole Guerrero one, which I don't even know why I brought this up here because this one is discontinued. But I mean, as it's in my hand, I'll just talk about it right now. I freaking loved this. If there was anything I could do to bring this back, I would totally do it. I actually hardly even use this anymore because I can't get it again and I don't want to like hit pan on anything, but this shade right here is probably one of my all-time favorite highlighters. It is so beautiful. So I wish I could bring this back, but I probably shouldn't have even talked about that. And then for the other three that I have here, we'll start with That Glow. Still love this one. Love the very creamy, buttery formula. It's just a perfect highlight kit, honestly. It's so creamy. And then we have Sugar, which I believe is the newest of the 4-pan glow kits. And I really like this one too. It's a little bit different. So these shades have more of a different look to them. The shade Marshmallow right here is very bright and it has kind of a golden undertone but reflects pearl. Gumdrop reflects a more pinky rose gold tone. I don't really ever wear that because pink doesn't look that good on me. Butterscotch is beautiful as well. That's what Butterscotch looks like right there. And then Starburst, I love this shade. Even though I just said pink doesn't really look good on me, this shade is an exception. It is so pretty. And honestly, it doesn't even look really pink. This one definitely looks more pink if you guys can tell, but this shade is just beautiful. One of my favorites for sure. And then Sundipped, I really like this palette as well, but I can really only use one shade in here, and that's this shade right here, Summer. The other ones are just a little bit too dark for me and leave a cast on my skin, but this is what the shade Summer looks like right there. So I do really like this one. I wish that I could use more shades in it though. It's just a little bit too dark on my skin tone. And then we have the two more colorful glow kits. We have the Moonchild right here and Aurora right here. These two I really like too, but I feel like if I had to choose, I would choose the Aurora glow kit over this one just because these shades in here are just so different and so pretty. And you can also use, I mean, you can use all of these as eyeshadows if you don't want to wear them as highlighters. In this Moonchild one, these shades, they really are beautiful, honestly, but I don't know, they all kind of have that more blue tone, which is beautiful, but it's like, how often are you gonna wear that? That's really the only thing that I'll say about this. I do think it has a beautiful formula. It's just the wearability that's kind of a factor for me. It is really fun to play around with though, and it's very different. So if you like something different, you guys would love that, obviously. And then the Aurora one here, the reason why I like this one a little bit more is because the highlight shades, I feel like are just a little bit more wearable. I'll swatch that one again. See how this one has kind of a more golden peachy undertone? It's a little bit more wearable. And then Luna here is a super pretty pearly silver shade. And then this one again is pretty wearable as well. So that's the only reason why I like this one a little bit more than the Moonchild one. I will also swatch the colored ones. We have Spectra and that blue one. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that name, but again, love the formula in all the glow kits. I think they're perfect. Wouldn't change a thing. Okay, now let's move on to the bronzers. I have 4 of the shades right here. Today, I'm actually wearing the shade Tawny. Now, I do like these bronzers, but again, I don't love them. My main problem with them is just that they're a little bit too pigmented, I feel like. I'm used to bronzers where you can really dig your brush in and kind of control the amount you're using more and being able to go ham with it. But with these ones, you just need a tiny, tiny little bit and you can do like half your face with it. So that's the only thing that I don't love about them. Some people will like that, but I, on the other hand, I'm just used to a more harder press bronzer. These ones are just a little bit softer. So if you do get these, I would be aware of that you just need a tiny little bit and then just very lightly brushed on. Otherwise, you are gonna get some hard lines. It actually happened to me today, like right here. Yeah, I think it's right there. I just picked up a little bit too much and I could not blend it out. So that is just one thing that I will say about these, that I wish they were a little bit harder pressed. So that was the shade shade Tawny. I believe that is the second lightest shade. Here is the shade Mahogany, which is way too dark on me and it's a little bit more orange. This one is the shade Cappuccino. Again, just a little bit too dark on me. And then this one is the shade Rich Amber. I love the shade too. It's a perfect neutral bronzer with a little bit of warmth to it, and it just looks really pretty. So I do love the way they look on the skin. However, I just don't like how soft they are. Okay, moving right along. We only have a few things left, so I'm going to talk about the blushes quick. I have the blush trios right here. In these, I have the shades Pool Party and Pink Passion. This one right here is Pool Party. This one is my most used. I really like this shade right here. Let me turn down my brightness one second. Okay, that's way better. You can see what the colors look like. So I really like this shade right here. It's also a matte shade. This one in the middle is a sparkly shade, so I don't really ever dip into that. And this one is just a little bit too dark. It kind of looks like it could be a contour shade on me, but I do like this shade. I actually wish they would just make single pan blushes because I would totally buy that shade in them. And then this one is in the shade Pink Passion. Again, this is really the only shade that I use out of here. This one is a little bit too pink on me. I don't really ever use that, and this one is obviously way too pink. So I actually like to either use just this one alone or I'll mix these two together. Another thing that I will say about these is that, again, they're very pigmented, so you want to make sure that you're not going in with too much. Just very lightly pick up a little bit of the blush, tap off the extra because there will be some kickback to it, and then start buffing it onto your cheeks. All right, next thing we have is the blush kit. I have the shade Radiant in this one. I actually really like all the shades in here. The only one that I don't go for that much is this one right here, just because it's a little bit too dark on me. Otherwise, these three shades are really pretty, and the same thing goes for these blushes as they do in the blush trios. They're still very pigmented, but if you just work with it nicely, they do look really pretty on the cheeks. I'm actually wearing the shade, I mixed these two together today, so that's what I have on my cheeks right now. You can't really see it, but it's there. Okay, now we have the lip products. I'm gonna start with the liquid lipsticks. I brought up my favorite shades up here. I love these liquid lipsticks. The only thing that I don't love about them is they are kind of drying, so you really wanna make sure that I actually usually just do a lip scrub every morning when I wake up, and that seems to help a lot when I wear liquid lipstick. So if you do a lip scrub and then put on a moisturizing chapstick or balm or whatever you wanna use, then I don't have a problem with these. Other than that though, they have a great formula. They're very creamy, super opaque and pigmented, and they just look beautiful on the lips. Plus they have like a million shades and they're all beautiful. So I brought up my favorite shades up here and I'm just gonna swatch them quickly for you. This one right here is the shade Stripped. It's a very pretty nude shade. And then we have the shade Crush, which I've worn in tons of my videos. It's the perfect pinky nude. And then we have the shade Trouble right here, which is actually what I have on my lips today. So it's a much darker plum kind of cool tone purple, and it's just super pretty. And then we have the shade Dazed right here, which it reminds me a lot of the shade Rosy from Kylie Cosmetics, and you guys know I love that one. It's a very different shade. It's kind of like a deep raspberry almost. And the last one of my favorite shades right here, this one is in the shade Poet, so it's kind of like Trouble but a little bit deeper. And then I brought two of my favorite shades of the matte lipsticks up here, the ones that aren't liquid obviously. I have the shades Honey and Soft Touch. Honey is definitely one of my favorite nude lipsticks to wear that aren't liquid lipsticks. I will say that these lipsticks are very matte and they are kind of drying if you don't prep your lips properly before. That's what the shade Honey looks like right there. And then here is the shade Soft Touch, another nude, just much lighter. So that's what Soft Touch looks like. So these two are my favorite ones out of all the shades that she came out with in this form of lipstick. And since they are matte, they're pretty transfer proof. They last on my lips a really long time. Okay, and then we have the lip glosses. Anastasia probably has the best lip gloss formula of any brand that I've tried. This one and Marc Jacobs, of course. This is probably my most worn lip gloss of any other lip gloss, and it's in the shade Undressed. I've worn this multiple times on my channel, and it's just a perfect nude gloss. Again, very opaque. What I like to do is put a liquid lipstick on and then top it with a lip gloss, and I feel like that makes them last a lot longer. And this one is in the shade Kristen. And then we have the lip palette. Now this is a really cool idea and just a really cool concept. However, I don't really ever grab for it. I've probably used it maybe 4 times, I want to say. I don't know. It is really fun to make your own shades. It's very fun, actually. I love just sitting there and mixing my own lipsticks and creating what I want, but it's just not practical for me, especially if I'm kind of in a rush and trying to get ready. I don't want to sit here and make the perfect shade, and especially if you make one that's so pretty, it's kind of hard to recreate that. But honestly, if you do freelance makeup or wedding makeup, whatever you do on different people, I think this would be really cool. Even if you put a little bit of like liquid lipstick on a pan and then scooped a little bit of this in there if you want it to be a little bit lighter or darker and mix it together to match someone's skin tone perfectly. That would be really cool. So I do think this is a really cool palette and concept just for me. I don't ever really grab for it. Okay, now we just have two more things I'm going to talk about and I'm just going to fly through these. Here is the Anastasia, obviously, hydrating oil. This broke me out. I don't like it. I don't like the scent of it. Yeah, it's just a little bit too strong for me and it gave me a really bad breakout. So I definitely steer clear of this one. And then this last thing is the Pro Pencil. This is an eyeshadow primer and color corrector. I don't use this because I feel like it doesn't really do anything for me. It's pretty dry and it's actually really hard if you're going to use it for an eye primer to sit there and like scrub it on your eyelid just because it is so tough. Okay, so that is everything I have to talk about. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys every single thing in the Anastasia line. So I hope you guys really liked this video and I hope it helped you guys out if you were looking for some new things to shop for. Please comment down below which brand you'd like me to do next. I have a lot of people asking for Benefit, Becca, Kat Von D. I have a lot of people asking for that. And yeah, so just let me know which one you guys want to see most. And whatever comment I see most, I will do that brand next. I love doing these videos. I think they're so fun. So that wraps up this video. Don't forget to enter my back to school giveaway that's going on right now. The link for that will be down in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.